What is going on, guys? It's Cameron, and we've got all new, all different Avengers issue 3 on screen, and by the cover you can see that pretty much all the Avengers look to be attacking Nova. And I especially love the reflection in his helmet. That's just so awesome to see. Now, in the previous issue, to recap, towards the end we saw Warbringer pretty much fly out of there, and Thor's hammer went through Warbringer because that guy teleported the hammer through him or something like that, and then pretty much the entire place flooded. And that's where the issue is going to be picking up, so yeah, that's a little bit of a recap for you. Now, really quickly, as for the Ultimate Spider-Man comic reviews, I asked you guys on Twitter which comic review would you like to see next. Spider-Gwen, all new, all different Avengers, all the Ultimate Spider-Man comics, and the majority of you guys asked me to do all new, all different Avengers first before Ultimate Spider-Man, so that's pretty much what's happening. Now, obviously, if you guys want an input in which comics I review next, then I seriously consider you guys follow me on Twitter. The link is in the description, and yeah, you should check it out. But without further ado, guys, I think it's time that we get into this comic because I know you guys are dying to see Ultimate Spider-Man, so let's get this review out of the way first, and then we'll get to that, so let's go. So jumping into the review, I specifically liked how the comic opened up. It was pretty much a representation of how Nova was feeling on the inside. Almost like his conscience was telling him to not let all the Avengers know, like he was afraid of what was going to happen if all of the Avengers found out that Warbringer is here because of him. Now, of course, this was all in his head because he was actually knocked out from nearly drowning, but I honestly have to say that I was genuinely concerned at the beginning when I saw Iron Man and Vision blasting Nova. Like, I was just kind of like, surely they would not do that. And of course, that's when it all made sense, when we discovered that it was just a representation of what Nova was feeling like, and yeah, it was pretty awesome. It was an interesting way to start the comic for sure. So moving further into the comic, I specifically liked how the younger characters, you know, like Miles Morales, Ms. Marvel, Nova, kind of stood their ground and took the responsibility about Warbringer, and pretty much stood up and said, hell no, we are helping you fight this guy. Especially when Captain America said that he will listen to Miles, because obviously 616 Spider-Man has kind of said, yes, Miles Morales is a Spider-Man, he's an awesome Spider-Man, and so all of the older characters from the Avengers actually respect Miles as an established superhero, and that's just so awesome to see. It's almost like Miles is coming into his own superhero and kind of making his mark on the world, and that's just so good to see. I also think the overall attitude from all the characters in the comic are really optimistic, especially when Iron Man is talking about let's go finish this fight, and they seem really focused as if they're really teaming up and becoming an Avengers team for the first time. Now, as you can see on screen, you can see the threat that is pretty much overwhelming the world is scarily huge. Like, if they manage to open the wall between their two worlds, craziness is going to ensue, and that's almost like a life and death situation. Meaning that the hands of the universe, and especially the world, are in some incredible danger, and you can see that just by the effort that all the superheroes are putting in. Almost like you're watching an actual Avengers movie. You really feel like that if they lose, then they are doomed. Now, essentially, this is the first time that we're seeing all of these superheroes team up. Some of them are from the original Avengers team, and of course, others like Miles Morales are kind of new. Well, not necessarily new, but you know what I mean. So it's interesting to see that these characters can come together and not only work together, but also improve upon each other's skills. And something that I totally didn't expect was for Miles Morales to kind of be a kind of centerpiece in this story. Like, pretty much everything that was going down all relied on him. He had to break these artifacts at the millisecond, just at the right time so that the massive window in the sky closed as Warbringer is pushed through it. And that's a crazy piece of responsibility to handle. I also thought it was hilarious how the zombies or whatever were coming out of the graves were actually coming after the artifacts to take them off him. And as Iron Man said, he needed Miles Morales' undivided attention, so Miles pretty much had to stand there, completely ignoring what was going on around him, whilst Captain America and Ms. Marvel were fighting off these zombie grave people, whatever they were, rising from the dead, these ghost figures, and I thought that was amazing. So as we're getting further into the issue, Iron Man actually doesn't make it to take Warbringer into the other dimension or whatever that portal is leading to. It's actually Nova that does it. And I really think that the theme of this comic is very much based around responsibility and the actions that you take to maintain that responsibility. Like at the beginning of the comic, we saw Ms. Marvel, Nova, and Miles Morales say, no, we want to fight with you guys, we want to have that responsibility. And then we've got Miles Morales having the responsibility of breaking the artifacts and putting them together at the same time. And then we have Nova stepping up to take Warbringer back to wherever he wants to go or whatever's going on. And right there, that's Nova taking responsibility for his mess, which is Warbringer coming to Earth because of him. So anyway, after all that craziness is taken care of, we then go back to the matter that nobody knows that Warbringer is there because of Nova. The only person that puts 2 and 2 together is Vision, and I think that's a very interesting thing for Vision to be the only one that knows. I was rather surprised that maybe Iron Man didn't figure it out as well, or maybe he hasn't, he just hasn't said anything. But I think it's a special thing for Vision to already put himself out there and look after Nova, considering this is the first time that they fought together. So they are already kind of a team, and then to top it all off, Iron Man actually says, "We should become the new Avengers, who wants to join me?" Blah blah blah, and that is how the all new, all different Avengers is created. So it took about 3 issues for the actual Avengers to be recreated again. But one thing we do get towards the end here is Vision pretty much blackmails Nova, and I'm not sure whether that's starting off on the wrong foot. But obviously that will probably come up again in the future, like someone will find out that yes, Nova is here, Warbringer is the reason that he was here. And of course we got that page with Warbringer where he pretty much got obliterated by what looked to be his own kind. Now I think he actually got sent into the future, or was it an alternate dimension or something, I'm not too sure, but either way he seems to be dead now. Now for some strange reason I kind of feel like that's not the last that we're seeing of all those guys that killed Warbringer. Maybe they'll come up again in the future, and maybe that's where it'll be revealed to the rest of the Avengers that Warbringer was the reason he was on Earth, was because of Nova. But yeah, that is the end of the issue, guys. What did you think? Let me know in the comment section below. Now, as for the comic, I'm thinking of just giving it an 8 out of 10. The theme of the comic was very responsibility orientated, as I already said during my review. And I actually really like the art style. I wasn't too sure whether it was different from the previous issues. It kind of feels different a little bit, but maybe that's just because it's at night and the other 2 issues were like during the day, kind of. The reason why I'm giving it an 8 out of 10 is because it kind of feels like they took Warbringer down a little bit too easy, but I do know that it's all about that other guy that was working with Warbringer. I imagine that he's going to come to light maybe sometime in the next few issues, or maybe later on in like 10 issues or something like that. But I really felt like Warbringer was a bit more of just, oh, let's push him through this portal and he'll be gone. Kind of felt like a little bit of a throwaway villain in this issue. But what did you guys think about that? Let me know. But anyway guys, that is the end of this review, that is the end of this video. Follow me on Twitter, and don't forget to tell me what comic reviews you want to see next by tweeting at me. The link is in the description. And also, don't forget about the Secret Wars issue 9 giveaway that I'm doing on my Instagram. The link will also be in the description. And that's it guys, so I will see you all next time.